Welcome to the 9/10 podcast, where ownership is 9/10 of the law. I'm Christopher George. I'm a lifelong investor and real estate agent out of Orange County, California. And I'm just really curious how all this stuff works if you're an undocumented or illegal person. How do you actually pay taxes? Because there's another executive order from Donald Trump, our president himself, talking about he's going to end tax benefits for illegal immigrants. So do they actually pay taxes? What kind of tax benefits do they actually get? So let's take a look at this video right here.
Amazing. Meanwhile, how about this? President Trump signing an executive order ending all federal taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants.
Lucas Tomlinson is live in Washington with...
So what do benefits to illegal immigrants actually get from taxes? I'm very curious.
Hey, Lucas.
Well, good morning, Ainsley. Good morning, guys. Some eye-opening numbers for you this morning. President Trump's executive order bars illegal aliens from receiving federally funded benefits to the total of $177 billion. And here's a little breakdown for you. It includes $59 billion.
$177 billion? Wow. So I guess it's just not a little thing after all. It sounds like it's a big deal.
For Obamacare premium tax credits, $43 billion for the earned income tax credit and the child tax credit, $40 billion for Medicaid and Children's Health Insurance Program, $15 billion for food stamps, $13 billion for children nutrition programs, and $4 billion for the supplemental security income. A lot of acronyms for you this morning. The Federation for American Immigration Reform estimates that federal expenditures on illegal aliens in 2023 total nearly $66.5 billion. This includes more than $23 billion in federal medical expenditures and $11.6 billion in welfare benefits. The Manhattan Institute estimates that every new illegal immigrant has about an average cost of about $130,000 to the American taxpayer. A lot of
$130,000 is what we're paying for each one of them and their benefits. I don't know about you. How do you feel about that? Please let me know in the comments. How do you feel about paying for each illegal immigrant $130,000?
Numbers this morning. Now, this isn't the only government program getting cut. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered his senior military leaders to develop a budget to slash defense spending by 8%. He's ordered the proposed cuts on his desk.
So yeah, I heard about this news. That's 8% for 5 years, 8% each year for 5 years, totaling 40%. 40% off our defense budget. That is insane. This has never happened in the history of the United States, where every year it just goes up and goes up. We're actually going to cut it by 40% by the end of 5 years. That's nuts.
24th, in a memo released last night, the Pentagon says, quote, "We must act urgently to revive the warrior ethos, rebuild our military, and establish deterrence. The Department of Defense is conducting this review to ensure we are making the best use of taxpayers' dollars in a way that delivers on President Trump's defense priorities effectively, efficiently, and effectively." Now, 17 categories would be exempt from these budget reductions in the Pentagon, including military operations at the southern border, nuclear weapons and missile defense programs, as well as building drones and munitions, guys.
Wow. So that number, it can be reduced, but it can't be. You can't just knock it down to zero, right?
That's correct. That's correct, Brian. And right now, the United States is spending about 3.5% of our economy on defense. During the Reagan buildup, that was about 6%. In Jimmy Carter's day, the low point was 4.5% of the economy. So some people like Roger Wicker want to see a boost in defense spending. Hotspots around the world right now.
It'd be interesting to see them lean out at the same time they build up and start reforming.
The administration saying no more federal taxpayer benefits for illegals. What about people here that are on working visas? They're here legally, so would they still be able to tap into Obamacare?
This is only for the illegal immigrants. So green card holders, if I'm understanding your question correctly, it's just for the illegal aliens that entered the country.
Got it.
Well, Lucas Tomlinson, his paperwork's in order. Don't worry about you.
Thank you, Lucas.
I think this is remarkable. I mean, we always knew they were on, they were getting benefits from the federal government, but when you see the breakdown of the billions of dollars that they've been getting, I'm with Ainsley, though. If you have TPS, for example, and you're going through the asylum process, you have a work visa at the time, okay, I understand that you're contributing while you're going through the legal process. But the moment that it's rejected by the courts and they say that you have a final deportation order, you got to go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the asylum is if you're being persecuted in your country, if it's not safe to stay in your country. So that's a different, but they have to argue their case when they go, before the judge. The Trump administration, when they signed this executive order, said, my administration will uphold the rule of law, defend against the waste of the hard-earned taxpayer resources, and protect benefits for American citizens in need. They talk about those with disabilities and our veterans.
So if you can take a chunk out of this, remember the goal is to save $1 trillion. You can take a huge chunk out of this per year.
Okay, so apparently that dude just explained it. While they apply for asylum, they are given temporary work visas. So that's how it works out. Okay. Well, being an immigrant myself, I just got to say that it definitely leaves a sour taste in my mouth because we had to pay thousands of dollars in just talking to lawyers that didn't know what they were doing half the time. And we had to wait years and years just to get responses from the U.S. government to just move forward with the process of, coming here and becoming legal immigrants in this country. But I guess if you just come here illegally, they'll just give you a work permit. Because that work permit, for me, that took forever. And I literally dreamt of getting a work permit for years. And I guess if you just come here and you didn't do the right way, they'll just give it to you.
That is getting you there. Let's say 250 billion. Number one is only, how many? It was 260 people crossed on a day now. And it used to be, up to 8,000?
All the sectors.
So that's going to go down. The other thing is, I'm with you, Lawrence, if it's the criteria with this administration.
Right.
But the other criteria with the previous administration was if you cross
it was the act,
and you say, hey, I feel threatened, and that's not good enough.
I agree.
Well, they got to say, okay, tell me why you can't go to a different portion of your country if you feel threatened.
Well, not just that, Brian. The law says that you have to stop at that first country that offers asylum. A lot of them were just coming straight to America and not going through the process. But apparently the number that is quoted is $450 billion that we would be, that's how much money they have spent on the gotaways and the illegals in this country.
Yeah, also...
450 billion, that's almost a $500 billion. And in my opinion, that's just bleeding out our money. We can't survive if you're just going to keep doing that for folks that aren't even allowed to be here. What about the folks that were born here? What about the folks like me who actually did everything legally? What about us? 450 billion? Seriously? And that's the money that we paid out of our paychecks,
We've heard a lot of talk about possibly you getting a check. If you're a taxpayer and they're saving all of this money, if they're saving $1 trillion annually, there's been talk that maybe you would get 20%, or Americans would get 20% of the savings, and then 20% would go to cut down on our debt.
So you're going to have to do some convincing of Brian Kilmeade because he disagrees.
He wants it all to pay down the debt.
He wants to pay down the debt. I think people want tangibles, and they want to see the money in their pocket immediately because we feel left behind a lot.
Yeah, I agree with this dude. Even just a little bit would count to make me feel better. You know what I mean? Even just a little bit back would definitely be a lot more than just paying down the debt. If you ask me, that would definitely impact a lot more for Americans.
A lot of folks have endured with COVID and all that. And so I think it would help the economy if people saw that money.
I like it too. A lot of people aren't watching the news. A lot of people don't even know that this is the conversation, that he's saving money. Most people are aware, but not everybody. But if you get a check in the mail and it's $5,000, that helps your family.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if you don't pay attention to any of the news, you wouldn't know what the hell is going on. And a lot of Americans are that way. They just go to work and they have super busy lives and they got kids to take care of and they don't have time to pay attention to all this corruption that's being done to their taxes. So receiving a check, that would just educate and enlighten everyone about what's going on in this country.
Yeah, here's President Trump on possibly getting this dividend check out.
Elon Musk is proposing essentially giving money to Americans based on what Doge is finding. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I love it. A 20% dividend, so to speak, for the money that we're saving.
How much money do you think?
It could be a lot. I mean, if it's 20%, would give back a lot of money to the taxpayer. And also, it would give an incentive for the taxpayer to go out and report things to us where we could save money.
It's a good point, too.
It's a good point.
In real time, just like taxes on tips, he's sitting in front of that Las Vegas audience and said, you guys live off tips. That is good instincts. I like the idea of going back into the economy. So if you give Mr. and Mrs. Johnson $5,000, they can go get that lawnmower or the thing, or maybe do something on their house.
Yeah.
That helps the economy. But I just also think the whole mindset of tightening your belt, getting those minimum payments paid. And I thought Elon Musk nailed it yesterday. As deep a thinker as he is and as brilliant as he is, I thought he knocked it down simply and directly with why he's going through every department, why we need a department of efficiency to begin with. Listen.
If we don't solve the deficit, there won't be money for medical care. There won't be money for Social Security. We either solve the deficit or all we'll be doing is paying debt. It's got to be solved. It's not optional.
I agree. I don't want to just be paying debt for the rest of my life, just paying taxes to pay debt. So yeah, the whole system is not working. If you just have to borrow money just for things to run and to everything that you're producing is to pay the debt, that sounds like slavery to me. So that needs to be changed. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about Elon Musk, what he's doing for the country. Do you think he's overstepping his bounds because he's not an elected official? Let me know what you think.
America will go bankrupt if this is not done. That's why I'm here. There's a lot of rich people out there. They should be caring more about the country, because the reason they should be caring more about the country is if America falls, what do you think is going to happen to your business? What do you think? Do you think you're going to be okay if the ship of America sinks? Of course not. Like, what I'm doing here, what the president's doing.
That's also another thing that's always boggled my mind, how all these corporations don't really care about the outcome of the USA. Because if the USA didn't exist, most of these corporations probably wouldn't be able to exist. You know, if the USA falls, some king or some tyrant will have all the power, and guess what? He'll just take all your corporations and make it their own.
It's just long-term thinking. The ship of America must be strong. The ship of America cannot sink. If it sinks, we all sink with it.
So yeah, there's some more savings from Doge. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think that we should stop giving benefits to undocumented migrants, or should we continue giving them healthcare, giving them housing, giving them food and childcare? So yeah, let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Peace.